Right, 28th of September 2023. My name is Chester Chirenje, and today I'm going to be going through an analysis of a series of coups in Africa. So we are going to look at the motivation behind these coups, who is funding the coups, the impact of the coups, and all of that is geared to answer a very important question, which is a coup a possibility in Zimbabwe right now? Looking at the current situation we just got ourselves from, which is a very disputed election. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the motivation behind these coups and what is it that they're trying to address, right? From the public perspective of the affected countries, right? These coups are received as a solution to an end of poverty, ending poverty, bad governance, political, social, and economic instabilities, elevation of dilapidated parastatals or state service institutions to a competent level. If you look at Africa, most African countries, they vacuumed vital, important sectors into the control of the government. And all of these sectors, they completely collapsed, and which has affected the citizens of those countries. And it's also perceived as a solution to a constitutional amendments to extend term limits, for sitting presidents. And lastly, last but not least, on my first point, which is looting. Right. On the second point, who is funding these coups? Right. From my first point, I mentioned that from a citizen's perspective, they receive these coups as a solution to all those things that I just mentioned. But from my own personal observation is these coups are within a region where there's certain great powers that are trying to project their powers in in the African continent to prove a point to certain countries. So by that, I'm trying to say that these countries, these affected countries, are basically proxies of rivalries between Russia and perhaps France. Because if you look at those countries, there's a lot of chanting in support of Russia and denouncing France. I will not get really deep into that, but that is just my personal observation above water level. Um, so the third one will be what is the impact of these coups within the affected nation, the regional bloc, and the continent at large, right? So the impact at continental level, even at national level, right? As Africans, I think we had progressed. We were actually on a right path to full democracy. But now these coups, they kind of reverse all those effort and all the achievements that we have done in the past, say 2 decades or so, right? So that is a negative impact. The second negative impact is these coups, they destabilize economies. Like if you look at the case of Niger and Nigeria cut off power, and there's certain things that happened. I'm just going to look at the power. So they cut off power to Niger. So Niger used, I think, don't hold me to that, but I think it's about 80 to 90% of the power from Nigeria, right? So both countries are affected. Nigeria is losing income, and on the other hand, Niger is losing power, to boost their economy. to run their economy. And then during that coup, right? There's a loss of civilian rights, loss of civil rights, because now we have the military in control, and the military and civil life, they don't go hand in hand most of the time. So there's an interruption of civil rights, and then that creates these coups as well. They create a breakdown of flow, right? And a breakdown of flow is actually space vacuum for future coups. So if you look at all those countries, especially Western countries, in the beginning of their independence, there were a lot of coups. So all these coups, they were piling up on top of each other because now there was a breakdown of flow. Uh, and then now, with all that I just said, I'm coming to answer a very important question that that have us all here, which is a coup a possibility in Zimbabwe? Well, personally, I don't foresee any coup action, any coup um, in the near future. It might happen, but it's not likely. If you look at the SADC region is completely different from the ECOWAS. That region, the SADC region is a region that has allies, party allies that are strongly connected to liberation of the southern countries, right? A good example is Frelimo, ANC, and ZANU-PF, and somewhat UDP from Botswana and other countries. Now, these parties, they always have each other's back. So if you look at the coup in 2017, the reason why it was successful, right? It was a battle. There was a battle, an internal battle of the protagonist of the narration of liberation, right? Which is the general Gouveia, Mnangagwa, and Spusiso Moyo. Those were pro liberation. And then on the other hand, we had G40, which was led by Mai Mugabe. Now, these ones, even though they were inside ZANU-PF, but they had nothing to do with war. All of them, they never went to war. So ANC, when that coup happened, ANC actually backed the coup because the protagonists were pro-war. So that's the reason why that coup was successful. Now, the other thing to consider is the military itself actually benefited from this election. So Mnangagwa on his own, yes, he might have won, but it's not only him that won. It's actually the military. So there might be internal, fights, but I don't see that they are so extreme to an extent that they can be a coup. And if you look at the military structures right now, we are talking about from politically appointed ranks, that is from colonel all the way to the general. Mnangagwa actually cleared out all the bad apples, and put his freshmen in there and his loyalists. So seeing any action against Mnangagwa at the moment, I don't see that. So yeah, maybe there might be a different outcome in the near future, but for now, based on this analysis that I've just given, I don't see anything happening right now. So with that, I just wanted to keep it very, very, very short. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.